Hey guys, this is Forsaken Reality here with the 15th episode of the RPG tutorial series. In this video, we're going to be dealing with moving the melee traits to the character because um, I ran into a little problem when trying to set up the trace and check between the character and the AI, and the replication. We've had a few issues, so we're going to move the melee trace to the character now. I plan to do that in the future, because the main reason for that would be currently it's in the master holdable, and the only time the master holdable is set is when you're holding an item. So when you're not holding an item, you can't trace your melee. So if you, for example, you wanted to set up punches, you wouldn't be able to set that. So that's a good reason why we're going to move that over, and also to fix those replication issues that I was getting. So without further ado, we'll get into that. We'll also be setting up the check for if an AI is hit and if a player is hit, and check and creating an array to store the damaged AI and players so that it doesn't continuously trace through them and continuously keep damaging them. It'll only hit them once, add them to the array, and then wait till the end of the trace. So the first thing we're going to want to do is close out of this stuff I have open here. First thing we're going to want to do is go to our character blueprint, because we're going to fix some collision issues. The character and the AI. First we must scroll all the way down on the mesh. In custom, we want to set visibility to block and camera to ignore. You don't want the camera bouncing off characters as if it hit them by chance. And AI will do the same thing. Mesh, scroll down, custom, block visibility, and ignore camera. So now that we have the collision fixed, we'll want to move our melee trace to our character. So we want to go to our holdable item and then master holdable. And in here we have our melee trace. Copy all of this over to our master character and create a new function called melee trace. We'll paste this in like this. And now we'll need to make a few changes to this one. So we'll grab our holdable reference, holdable mesh. And we'll plug that into the target like that. So now it gets the holdable mesh from the referenced holdable actor. And down here I'll want to remove this because the self-reference is getting the current character that this is activated on. So the instance of the character, so each character individually. We'll also want to get our holdable reference so it doesn't hit that. Plug that in there. We'll compile and save. And now that we have the melee trace moved over here, we can go over and just to our holdable, master holdable, and delete the melee trace. Compile and save. Now we'll want to head to our animation blueprint. Head to our notify graph. Now we just want to remove the holdable reference because it's referenced from the character now. So remove this, plug this into there. Now it's referencing the character for our melee trace. So now that we have the melee trace set up, we want to start checking for our hits on the AI and players so we can start determining damage. So you want to head back over to your master character blueprint, drag out and break hit result in your new melee trace on your sphere trace. And hit actor, we're going to cast to character. We're just going to get a reference for the default character, for the main character class, because you notice this class is a reference to, is a parent of master character, and it's also a parent of master AI. So that means that when you attack trace, you can hit AI, and everything beyond here will be able to hit AI and players. And we need a couple new variables. And we'll call this already damaged enemy. And this will be an actor. Object reference, it's an actor. Before we set that to an array, we'll create a new variable called damaged enemy ref. So enemies, change that to enemies because it's it can be multiple. We'll create an array. So this is where it will store our damaged enemies, and this will set a reference to our damaged enemy. So we plug this in here, and a character is hit, then this reference will be set to the type of the master character, and if it's an AI that's hit, it will be set to an AI, since they're both children of the character. So after we set the damaged enemy reference, I'll just comment this, check if AI was hit or player. And AI player are both children of character actor. Now we have this done. We want to create a branch, so B and click to create a branch. And our condition will be we will get our already damaged enemies, and we'll get our damaged enemy reference, and we'll check if this array damaged enemies contains the damaged enemy already. And if it does contain the specific damaged enemy, then we will just return and do nothing, because we don't want it hitting multiple times as it traces through the enemy. But if it's false, we'll grab our already damaged enemies and our damaged enemy reference again, and we will add the damaged enemy reference to the array of already damaged enemies. So as it passes through characters and AI, it will add them to this array so it doesn't continuously attack them. Because right here, it will check every time the trace runs, and if they're in there, they'll return. And after that, for now, we'll just return. This is where the damage will happen. So it only damages once. Anything like if you want a weapon to hit multiple times, you'll have this that'll have to be sub specifically, and I'm sure I'll end up doing something like that in the future. So now we'll just comment everything in here quickly. Enemy. Damaged. Already damaged. Alright. So there we go. And this. Check the already damaged enemies. Array and for instances of the damaged enemy reference. This array will also store things in order, so each enemy you hit in order will be stored, so you can have things like the second enemy hit can have less damage taken and things like that. That's a useful thing. That's why arrays are pretty useful. And we'll get rid of this. And comment this whole thing. Character actor, yeah, players, both children. Actually, I don't need to do that. I already have that. Character actor hit. This is where everything beyond this is where this we're dealing with the hit. And we will just test that out with a print string. I'll actually use an append. That's a string. And damaged enemy ref, and it will give us the name of the damaged enemy reference printed out as we hit them. Just to test that out, here's an AI. That's the attack dummy. You notice how it hits once and it isn't reset for the next attack. We'll set that up right now. Hit the character, it only damages once on the client and server. We'll display on the client and server, but it's not letting us do it multiple times. So to fix that, we'll want to go to our master animation blueprint again, and in our character reference, we will drag out and get our already damaged enemies. And we'll clear the array. And this will happen when the melee trace ends, which is when we want exactly what we want it to, so that the next time we melee trace, we'll be able to hit an enemy again. And this will also work, it stores each instance, so that if you have multiple enemies in here, it won't just hit one of them and not allow you to hit the other one. You notice you hit both of them. It resets each time. And you notice that I hit the second one first, so you know that the array is storing them in order, starting at 0 and 1. First one is attack dummy, and then attack dummy 2, and attack dummy 2, and attack dummy. Add the player. Okay, so we can remove this. That was just a test. And we are returning. Also, one thing I forgot to do in the last video was in the stats component. Go to our components. We set up functions for adding and removing health, and I gave you a little test, I guess, to see if you could set up the rest of them. We're going to quickly set up these now. So if you have that done, then good job. If not, then here we go. We'll set those up now. The first thing you want to do is copy all of this from the add health. We'll go to add mana and paste all that in. And we'll just change this to mana bonus. And right here we will check mana and plug in mana right here. And over here we'll plug in mana. We'll create an input that's a float amount to add. You gotta make sure that they're like this too, so the mana, it's getting the current mana variable and adding this to it. And we'll go to remove health. And we'll copy all that. And then we'll go to remove mana. If you don't have this created, you click plus function and name it remove mana. And we'll paste these in like that. And this will be mana. You want to take off the health pin, take on the mana pin. Create an input. Amount to remove. And we'll create another function called health mana accuracy. We'll do them in order. So add accuracy, remove accuracy, and the input will be amount to add for add accuracy. I'm in the remove accuracy right now. No, I'm not. Yeah, add amount to add. And we'll just grab this again and copy it. And go to add accuracy, paste it in, plug that in like that. Put that down there. Accuracy on the top one. And finally set it right there. Compile. Just gonna get rid of a few of these. Keep the add and remove accuracy. We're actually going to remove mana. Copy all of this one for the remove. Go to remove accuracy. Paste that in. Plug this in. Go to accuracy. Create an input. Now it's to remove. Now that's done. We'll create a new function. Add strength. Remove strength. We'll add strength first. Create an input. To add. Go to one of the other completed adds. Copy this. Paste this in. I just noticed that I wasn't changing the name up here. Doesn't really do anything to your code, but it's good. It makes it easier to read later. So I'm about to add at the bottom. Alt and click allows you just to remove stuff, and then strength plugged in there. Remove accuracy, strength. It's gonna fix all my other ones too. Go to remove mana, one of the other removes, and paste that in here. Strength. And strength will go there. Search this strength pin. New parameter. Now it's to remove. And now that's strength done. And finally we'll do add defense. Remove defense. I won't do experience for now because experience will be done a bit differently. Now just to add one of the other adds. And plug this into defense into plus. Now to add in like that, and strength. And goes add defense, go to one of the other removes, copy everything in there, paste. Now, there's definitely a less repetitive method of doing this. So now everything's set to defense, except for this right here. It'll remove defense. Add defense. Compile that. I'm just going to check and make sure everything is set to the correct names. Add strength, remove strength, add defense, remove defense. Okay. So yeah, like I was just saying, there's definitely a less repetitive way to create this, and I didn't fully put all the time into setting it up differently. But I will be going through and setting it up so it's all one function, and we'll use an array to store different variables probably. So for now, this will allow us to individually add and remove amounts from each of these variables, which we'll be using. That's everything for this video, I believe. If you have any suggestions or questions, leave them in the comments below or join my Discord. And feel free to leave a message there. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and click the like button as well. Thanks, that's just about everything. I'll see you all in the next video.